we're here with Scott from Dr.Dog. Thanks for taking the time, man.
Oh, you're welcome.
Shame came out last week, and wow, it's a bigger sounding record than Fate. What do you attribute that to? You just guys wanted to mix around with more instruments and stuff? Or?
Yeah. Well, it just was like I feel like forever we've made a lot of albums now, and there's always been this real great divide between making an album and playing a live show.
Right.
And when we play a live show, we try to make it big because that's what works and that kind of thing. And then just for us, it's taken a long time to kind of think about making albums in a more conventional way, which is to just make your album sound like what your band sounds like.
Right.
As opposed to taking advantage of the chance in the studio to make it sound like anything you want. So we just wanted to stay truer to what it is we do live. And then, of course, the good thing about that is now we've got this new batch of songs that we can play live and be pretty accurate about, which has never really been very easy for us in the past.
It's not like the things that people have fallen in love with Dr.Dog have gone away, though. Like the pop sensibility and the harmonies, that's all there. It's just more of it and more guitar, right?
Yeah, more guitar is basically what it comes down to. When you listen to our old albums, it's rare you hear a guitar. And it's used in such a economical way. It's like bring in fuzz guitar here because this part needs to be loud. As opposed to actually thinking of guitar parts and working guitars in. Yeah, guitars, I've been a real reluctant guitar player forever just because it's just, to my ear, it's not the most inspiring instrument. Granted, there are amazing guitar players, but I've always held them up in such this unattainable place where it's like, well, if you really want to have really good guitar, you just have to be some kind of super genius.
Right, you have to be Jimi Hendrix or something.
Yeah, or Mark Rebo, or
right.
all these great stylish guitar players and soulful guitar players. But I mean, our live show is a 2-guitar rock band thing.
Right.
So it's like we've been kind of resisting that part of our music for a real long time, up until this point, really. To an extent. I mean, we still didn't use electric guitars as much on this album as we will
the next
use them to play them live.
Right.
But, so there's still some of that. But yeah, it's just one step in that direction.
Is that something that obviously you were conscious of, that you wanted to make a bigger rock record this time around? And did the producer have anything to do with that? Or did you know going in that's kind of what you wanted to do?
We knew going in that's what we wanted to do, and that's why we were looking for a producer. You know, I mean, that's what inspired the decision to look around for somebody.
Right.
And Rob, speaking of guitars, I think one of the other reasons why we've always avoided guitars is because we have the guitars we tour with, and that's it. And we have the amps we tour with, and that's it. And they're just there to be like loud, clear amps. You know, they're not very unique. We don't have all these varieties of tones.
Right. So
Rob brought like 16 amazing guitars to the studio to record, and all these little amps and stomp boxes and stuff. So that was another way we were able to kind of embrace guitar more, was just by having more choices and the uniqueness of the sounds that are available in a Les Paul versus a Jaguar versus a whatever, you know. And plus also having an engineer and being in a studio where they capture sounds in a more full and nuanced way, it was actually worth it to work on a good tone because you knew it would actually become a part of the recording. Whereas for us in the past, in our recording style, based on the really simple guitar equipment that we had, and also based on the simple engineering equipment that we have, everything just ends up kind of sounding the same. You don't get a lot of information in the mics with the way we've been doing things forever. So that was just another reason why it was more fun to think more about guitars, and of course think more about the live thing, and think more about the performance of stuff in the studio, like really performing well. For sure, every song, you know, we would set the whole band up, and we would do a take with everybody so that everybody had the luxury of playing to the fullness of the sound in their part, and playing off of each other. But in most cases, what we would keep out of that would just be the rhythm section, and then we would go back and you know, because like I'd just set up a guitar with whatever sound just so that the rhythm section had some ass to go off of, and then we'd take it away, and then I'd work on a kind of a better guitar tone or experiment with different sounds that would maybe add more to the sonic thing of it.
How did Jimmy James get on the record? He's on Shame Shame, right? And he was a big proponent of the band going way back. Like you opened for him in 2007 and stuff. And you know, actually that he turned me on. 2004, really?
Actually, yeah, it's really early.
He actually, when we were talking to him on the Evil Urges tour, he mentioned that you're a band to check out and listen to. So it was really
cool.
Really cool.
Yeah, he's always been real supportive. Yeah, right down to that tour he took us on, which was our first tour ever.
Right.
And we weren't really functioning prior to that. Like we weren't. We were a band. We had a name. We had an idea about who was in the band, and we were doing a lot of recording. But we weren't really a working band. You know, we were dishwashers and late night 4-track guys. You know.
Yeah.
And so he got us on that tour, and that really began for us a new way of viewing things. Like putting it all together, making it a presentation. And so yeah, so he's been a friend ever since, and a real big supporter and everything, and helped us out in a lot of ways. And but what the way it ended up on the record is he was coming through on tour with that Monsters of Folk thing from Philly, and this was like early or mid-November. And that's right when we were mixing the album. We were holed up in this studio called The Studio in Philly.
An apt name for a studio.
Yeah, really, really cool place. A lot of really cool historical significance about the place too. And so we mixed there, and the song Shame Shame, up until the very bitter end, right through the mixing process, Toby had hang-ups about that backing part and how it wasn't. I tried it, and apparently my voice wasn't hitting what he was looking for, and Frank tried it. And then I got a text message from Jim saying, hey, we're coming through, you guys want to come out to the show or something tonight? And I was like, hey, Jim's in town, guys. And then Toby was like, would Jim come over and sing it? Because apparently that was the kind of that ethereal voice, that quality that Jim James has, that's just so velvety and angelic and stuff. And that's, I think, the grandeur that Toby was looking for in that backing part. So I told Jim, like, we unfortunately can't come to the show because we're, paying for this studio time, 2 weeks and got to be done. But would you like to come over afterwards and sing on it? So they played the show. We went over and picked him up, and he came over and in 1 or 2 takes just put those parts down.
Wow.
It was really simple.
What are you listening to now? You're on the road, and are there any bands either from Philly or anywhere else that are catching your ear that you want to give a shout out to?
Oh yeah, well right now it's funny, I got a 5 CD changer in my house, and pretty much the last 3 weeks of being home before coming out yesterday, the same 5 CDs never left there.
What are those?
And Floating Action is a guy named Seth Kaufman from North Carolina, and he has a band called Floating Action, and it's just some of my most absolute favorite stuff. I'm almost to the point of feeling overwhelmed by it.
Wow.
It's such an amazing thing. And I'm actually fortunate enough to have his unreleased album, because I did a recording with him a few weeks ago, and it's all done. He just hasn't put it out yet.
Right,
so
right.
I know what's up with Seth's next album, and it's some of the best stuff I've ever heard.
Really?
Yeah. And then I played a solo show in West Philly, this yoga studio, like 3 weeks ago, and a girl who's also from West Philly, who I'd been hearing about for a really long time, named Birdie Bush. She tours, and she's pretty well known and stuff, but I just never gotten the chance to hear her music. She also played, and I was like, wow. And then she came over and gave me and my cousin her new album, and I've been listening to it so much. It's beautiful. Me Without You, that I really love a lot, and they have a new album, and it's called It's All Right, It's All a Dream, It's all crazy, it's all false, it's all a dream, it's all right. Some order
like
of those
Yeah.
things. And it's, again, a super powerful album. And then I have this Caetano Veloso CD that I've been listening to a lot because I'm working on this other project with a friend of mine, and he keeps making me think of Os Mutantes and stuff, like the way he puts his songs together and the flavor of his songwriting and stuff. So I've been listening to a lot of Os Mutantes and Caetano Veloso, and then I have this one other CD that my Aunt Jackie made for me, which is like she's a big Dylan fan,
Right.
and I'm a big Dylan fan, and she gives me these mixes that are kind of like these mixes of her favorite ones and her favorite songs.
Right. Dylan songs or just in general?
Dylan songs, yeah, it's like her picks.
Thanks, man. Thanks for taking the time. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for
Congrats
talking.
on the record, man.
Appreciate it.
Cheers.